Adventurers and artists, welcome back. 3 things that radically improved my music practice. I've been practicing, or rather playing the piano for, I think, about 10 years now, maybe a little bit longer. But it was about 5 years ago, I'd say 5 years, where I really decided to dedicate myself to the instrument, and I really started to actually practice it, because there's a difference between practicing your instrument and just playing it. So it was about 5 years ago that I really dedicated myself to practice. And I've been stumbling along the path in those 5 years, really not knowing what I was doing. I was kind of self-teaching myself. I didn't have a teacher or anything like that. I used YouTube to learn a lot of the things that I learned on the instrument. But last year, there were several things that I started doing that really improved my practicing and made me a better and more efficient practicer. And I'd just start off by saying that I'm by no means a master of this instrument. As I said, I've been practicing for about 5 years, maybe longer. I'd say I'm about an intermediate player. But I think that one thing, no matter where we are on the musical journey, I think we all share the same thing. We all have in common the fact that we want to improve. We wish to improve our skill on this instrument, and we're all practicing. It doesn't matter where we are on the spectrum. We're all practicing, and we all wish to improve. So I just thought I'd share 3 things that really improved my practice. So the first thing, it's obvious. It's probably what you're going to expect, but I'm going to say it anyway. Is to set goals. We all know this. We all know to set goals, but what does it actually mean to define a goal and really work towards it? I think too often when I started practicing, I would just kind of practice things like chords and scales and all these different things, and those are really good. But I ended up just that's what I did. I would sit for an hour and just work on that, and that's really good. But it didn't really take me anywhere in terms of what I want to achieve on the instrument. I think last year I decided that I want to play in venues. I want to get gigs. This is one of the goals, certainly for a lot of musicians today, is to get gigs. We want to perform, we want to share our music. So last year I'm like, okay, I want to play gigs, but I've got a problem. I had a serious problem. I didn't have a repertoire. I only played original music. I know that sounds really random. It sounds really weird when I tell people that my biggest problem on my instrument is that I have a hard time playing other people's music. I tend to just play original compositions. So anyway, I realized that I needed to start building a repertoire if I wanted to play in a professional setting, in a restaurant. There was a restaurant in town called Etrusco's, an Italian restaurant, and I found out that they had a piano there, and I said, I want to play there. When I established that goal, it gave me a purpose. It gave me something to work towards, like a solid thing. I said, I'm gonna by this date, I'm gonna go to Etrusco's and I'm gonna say, hey, I want to play your piano 2 nights a week. So I'm like, okay, so it really made me focus, Okay, I sat down, okay, I need to learn 20 songs. I need to have a 20-song repertoire at least, And my other goal in tangent with that was I want to develop a cocktail jazz style that is really it's good ambience for a restaurant like that. So with those goals established, my practice sessions became purposeful. Everything I did when I sat at the piano was working towards those goals, instead of just mindlessly practicing scales or some chords or this or that. I sat down and I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on Misty. And so I started learning Misty. And, I went from really struggling to learn songs, learn tunes, to learning Misty, learning a whole bunch of stuff, building my repertoire. I started building my repertoire, and I had this little slip, this little paper which has my songs on it, you know, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, Yesterday by the Beatles, you know, classic tune, Don't Know Why, Norah Jones, just tunes that people recognize, you know. I think that's important. Repertoire is an important thing that I disregarded for too long, but I'm really focusing on that, particularly this year. And ever since establishing that goal, I really started focusing on that. And also developing my cocktail jazz style. You know, by the end of that month, I was like, sweet, I'm ready. And I had literally improved in the course of that month more than I did within the last like 6 months, just because I defined a goal and my practice sessions became purposeful and driven. And I went to Etrusco's and they said yes, and I played there 2 nights a week, and that was really nice. And I got paid, you know, a little bit, and a big pasta every time I went there. So it was great. So that's my first tip, is have goals and really establish them and work towards them. Number 2, the second thing that radically improved my playing was I started journaling. I took up a practice journal. This is something that I got from Kiefer in his Twitch streaming videos. He talks about having a practice journal, and for me it made perfect sense because I'm a writer. I have so many journals. I literally have a journal for everything, but one thing I didn't have a journal for was practicing. And you know, if we are taking it that seriously, we want to be musicians, that's our career, or we are musicians, then it makes sense that we would have a journal for that, you know. We would note down everything we learn. And this has become like a commonplace journal for me, you know. I think there's a lot of purposes for this, you know. I've just got so much in here, and I've like, for example, I take notes, you know. It's like I take notes on YouTube videos. You know, too often I would go on YouTube and you know, watch videos, you know, teaching videos and stuff about jazz, piano, but I would get nothing from it. And then I would watch the next video and the next video and the next video, and it would be too much information, but I didn't implement any of that information into my practice. Until I started taking notes. And you know, this journal has my notes from the videos I've watched. Another purpose I use it for is I've got this page that says Cool Discoveries. Yeah, I've got this page that says Cool Discoveries. Anything that I just discover while I'm practicing and be like, oh, that's cool. You know, in the past I would do that, but then just kind of forget it, you know. But here, I make a note. Like, for example, what have we got? The Locrian scale goes great over a minor 7 flat 5 chord. Yeah, that's quite cool. Yeah, when playing a dominant 7 chord, the minor major 7 chord a whole step below sounds really nice, especially resolving to the 1. So yeah, it's just like cool little things that you can note down. I mean, there's probably a myriad of purposes for a practice journal. So that's one thing that really, you know, you can keep track of your progress as well. You can do anything with your journal. That's it. You know, it's such a versatile tool, and it's great for practicing. So that's my second one. My third one is to find a mentor or a teacher. As I said, when I really started to take practicing seriously, I just kind of self-taught myself. Because in today's world, you can just go on YouTube, and there are so many people teaching this stuff. And so that's what I did. I just learned on YouTube and practiced. But as I also said, I didn't develop any good practicing strategies or techniques. I kind of just stumbled along, and in those 5 years, stumbling along in my practice, I improved, but I could have improved so much more if I had someone there guiding me along and kind of critiquing critiquing my playing. Last year I started at university at the music school there, and part of the performance paper is that you get a mentor, a tutor, and you know, his name was Doug. He's a really great guy. So I was seeing Doug every week, and when I first saw him, I was really, really humbled, because I was coming back to university. I'm 25 now. So I kind of had this idea that, like, you know, I'm already a little bit along with my music. Obviously, there's so much more to go, which is why I went to university. But I kind of had this ego about me, you know. But when I went to see Doug for the first time, he said, "Do this." And I was like, what was that? What'd you just do? And he's like, "Oh, it's this." What I'm saying is that I needed my ego to be tamed down a little bit, you know, and I think that's another good, that's another great reason to have a mentor, is because you need your ego checked every now and again in music, because you tend to get lost a little bit in your own playing sometimes. I know I do. And then I see Doug, and he's like, "Mate, like, you're doing this all wrong. Like, focus on the melody. Stop putting in useless notes." I mean, I learned so much from Doug last year, and I'm going into my second year as well, so I'll be seeing Doug from next week. It's just great to have that you know, advice from someone who's been there and who's done it, you know, who knows what it's like in the business and can give you practical, solid advice and give you proper critiques on your playing. I think that's a really valuable thing to have, and I think any musician on the journey can find a mentor and a teacher. There's always going to be someone above you, you know. The musical journey is vast, you know. There's always going to be someone ahead of you that can help you out and kind of critique your playing and give you some advice and words of wisdom. Anyway, so that's just 3 things that really helped me become a better practicer. That's having solid goals and working towards them in my practice sessions, having a practice journal and making notes on things I learn, and also having a mentor and a teacher to guide me along and critique my playing. So I hope that helped, and I really hope that some people out there, you know, learn from this. I guess I'm just sharing some of the things that I'm learning on my journey, you know. As I said, we're all on this journey of practicing our instrument wherever we are, and yeah, I think we could all become better in our practice sessions and more effective. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in again, if you made it this far, and I wish you good luck on your journey. See you soon.